Welcome. My name is David Burrell, and I'm an engineering manager here at Meta. My teams do the SDKs, tools, and samples. So we're called Developer Technology, and we work closely with Unity Technologies, Epic Games, and Qualcomm on the graphics driver, a bunch of performance optimization things, as well as things that would help you build and optimize your app. And our goal is to minimize your costs of development and help you do the things with Quest that would drive engagement and help you make money. So today we're going to talk about that, how to build and optimize your app, kind of after you've done the things that Ben and Mike just spoke about. So who's here for the one-on-one session? I see a lot of new faces. Okay, yeah, we've had pretty good turnover. So we're going to rehash a little bit of that for you, just so you have context. But we just had to talk about, kind of building XR-based mechanics into your game. And now I'm going to talk about how do you hit frame rate, how do you refine the engagement, iterate, and then get it in the store. And then Pooja is going to come up and talk to you about how to scale it and monetize it, and make sure that you're doing the things that resonate the most with your customers. So with that, let's talk about the tools we have available. So in case you missed it, we have a very popular MetaQuest Developer Hub tool. I would think it's actually the second most popular. Sometimes it's considered the most popular tool we have. Who here has used MetaQuest Developer Hub? Most of you, yeah, okay. So the idea of this tool is to be a one-stop shop, the place where you start. You can connect with us, you can get the downloads, you can set up your device, you can set up test users. There's a few new features also in MetaQuest Developer Hub that I'm going to talk about here. It has a built-in profiler that's been there for a while. If you checked it out in the past and you haven't used it recently, check it out now because it's got a bunch of new information. But it's kind of like a real-time heads-up display that you can say, oh, my app's performing fine, or you can say there's a problem with GPU or CPU utilization and then kind of zoom in from there. But it's allowed to be like always on and it won't disrupt your app. There's also casting and there's the ability to wipe your device, flash your device. You can do a lot of things with it. And you can also now control Link. So Link is our other most popular tool. And a lot of people use it for edit, compile, test iteration because you can just hit play in Unity and instantly see what you're working on. You can also do things now like use many of the mixed reality features. We now pipe that over the Link protocol. You can do it over Wi-Fi or ADB. Not ADB, actually. It's a USB. It's our custom protocol we've built. But yeah, now you don't have to go through the consumer experience, which is a little bit slower. You can just use MQDH directly to turn it on and off. You can set whether you want to use the AirLink Wi-Fi version or the USB version. And we can also control the proximity sensor, preventing your device from going to sleep directly from MQDH. And you can also turn off the boundary system so that you don't get those distracting lines. I tend to draw my Guardian, not including my desk. So I want to turn that off when I'm iterating because I get those blue lines and the performance hit. So you can do all that now from within the same tool and avoid a lot of round trips to another tool. We've also recently added the ability to debug compositor usage. So how many of you are using anything other than an IFOV layer in your app? Do you even know what I mean by that? So our compositor has, so let me start from the beginning here. So the Quest has a pretty extensive compositor stack to render what you see on the panel. There's a whole bunch of effects happening there, such as chromatic de-aberration, latency correction, which we call time warp. There's another version of that called application space warp, which will essentially deal with the fact that the display is traveling around with your head as you move. So if the frame starts rendering 16 or 20 milliseconds before you see it, we can shift it back to where it should be due to the motion of the display itself and things like that. So the compositor is very necessary for a comfortable VR experience. And there are a couple of different scenarios where you'd actually want different behavior from that compositor. So for video content, and who here is building a media app? Okay, well I would encourage you to check out the world-locked quad layer we have. We have an ability, and we use this in our rendering in our browser and a lot of what you see in the home environment. Many of our panel-based apps that we were just announcing, those are all using kind of these world-locked quads or cylinder layers to get more sharp text rendering, better filtering on high-resolution images that have a different approach to that latency correction. They just use kind of different mathematical approaches to that so that you can have the full resolution of the panel, and we're not throwing anything away just in the math. So you're getting significantly higher spatial frequency, lower latency, better image stability if you use these things. So this is a nuanced and kind of arcane space for a lot of people. And so now we have this view right in MQDH that'll tell you, oh, you're using the wrong resolution for the distance or the size of this thing. You should probably change that to either increase the quality or reduce the performance cost. And it's a little bit less obscure here once you use this. We can also tell you kind of how much you're using in the compositor and what the footprint is going to be. There are a couple of other types of layers. For example, we can do like 360 photos if you have like an equirect or a cube map that you want to show the user. We can also show that in a highly stable way and show like spherical video and stuff. And this will tell you what's going on with that and kind of what the trade-offs are. And I also want to point out that the artifacts you see in the image here with this monitor being displayed have been fixed recently. So as of like V69, you should now see the less of that warping or in the distorted image there. What else can you do? Well, we just talked about XR Simulator. So that is, for those who weren't here, a mock OpenXR runtime that you can run right on your PC, and it allows you to avoid round trips to the device. So a lot of folks, they start in the Unity editor and they hit play, and they don't really even want to put the headset on. They just want to edit, compile, test until the app is basically working, and then fine-tune the on-headset display, after that. And so, how many of you build like a non-VR mode for your application before you consider enabling VR? Okay, it's pretty common. So XR Simulator lets you take that further and lets you keep that fast workflow even once you start using some of the XR features. So you can do like touch controller interactions without putting on your headset. You can do that with a keyboard and mouse, or you can even use the real touch controllers and not have the headset on. So this really allows you to keep in that flow state and keep working with your app before you get into that more high friction workflow. You can also test a diversity of environments. So if you happen to live in an apartment and you want to test what it would be like in a warehouse, or you want to test like maybe being in a grassy field area or something like that. You have a wide variety of environments available to you, and you can make your own very easily with our synthetic environment server. You can also test multiplayer with XR Simulator. So Unity 6 has a number of new features where you can like concurrently run multiple instances of your app right in the editor. And we also now allow that kind of behavior with XR features enabled. So you can have like your multiplayer bugs reproduced. If they only happen when like two players approach each other and high five across a shard boundary, you can do that now with all the XR features enabled, and also record and replay that behavior so it can be kind of caught in automation, or you can get like that really isolated test case. We also allow you to use Link with that. So if you want to really be in XR and try multiplayer and have the rest of the players be controlled through XR Simulator, you can do all of that simultaneously and hop around between them. It's really flexible, so I encourage you to check it out. How many of you are making a multiplayer version of your app? Okay, a lot. And that's good because that really drives engagement. Let's talk about some other tools you may not have heard of, but I think they're really valuable, and the people who've used them have had a really positive experience with them. So MetaQuest Scriptable Testing is something that we provide so you can build infrastructure for testing your app. So here at Meta, we all have root when we're testing the device, and so it's easy to take for granted how much harder it might be if you don't have that. But there are certain things that you need root for without MetaQuest Scriptable Testing, such as disabling that boundary system, wiping your device, disabling proximity sensor and therefore the device going to sleep, controlling the clocks. These are all things that we've now exposed through ADB commands, and so you can use, like, for example, Python to invoke those. And we also have a number of script samples. So if you check out developer.oculus.com or many of the aliases to that, you can get those samples, and you can write infrastructure that now repeats behaviors. You can even play back some of those traces and get kind of scalable on-device performance testing and other functional testing. Another script-based tool we have is OVR GPU Profiler. So who here has used RenderDoc for Oculus? Okay, good number of you. That's actually pretty cool, because that's a pretty powerful tool as well. So for those who don't know, RenderDoc is a very popular frame debugger, and we've added to it a profiler. So you can see in the context of your application's command buffers and all the things that it's doing with the graphics driver, you can see how much those things are costing performance-wise. Those kinds of statistics are also available, and a more complete version of them is also available in a programmatic form here. So you can build your own tools, or you can write automation scripts that you can run nightly or per check-in if you're on top of things. And you can really see how much did that diff decrease my performance. So if you have some really ambitious technical artists and maybe they tend to exceed poly counts, you can catch that as soon as the diff hits your repo. We expose currently 77 statistics, which I have not listed here, but they're basically everything Qualcomm has for us about that GPU driver. And we're still getting more from them, such as overdraw and a number of other things. But we have really detailed information. If there's any particular thing that you find is a root cause of some stale frames, and the more stale frames your app is having, the more it's going to drive attrition. So we really encourage you to maintain frame rate, as always. Well, we're giving you more and more tools so you can understand why you may have stale frames, and once you root cause those, you can then add, as we do, tests to make sure it doesn't happen again. So this is the tool where you can say, how many cache misses did I have on that frame, or what exactly, did that batch cost me? So getting even more into the nitty-gritty, but this one is a PC side tool. It works on Mac and Windows. It even works on Linux actually, but the stuff we've added to it here, Perfetto is a very popular Android tool for whole system contention. So if you're coming from game consoles, actually I'm curious, how many of you all have a PC, Xbox, or PlayStation build of your app? Very few. Oh, surprising. Okay. Okay, yeah. So yeah, those platforms have wonderful performance analysis tools, right? There's Razor, there's Pix, there's event tracing for Windows, which has GPU view and performance analyzer. Yeah, with those tools, you're able to see a timeline view and exactly what the dependencies between the packets of work were. Well, we're giving you that here now with Perfetto. We can show you the call stacks of all the work. So here we have all the different CPUs that are available to the app, all the different hardware threads. We also have other resources on the system and all the processes, and you can see exactly when they schedule. You can zoom way in and say, oh, this binder call caused a stall over here on my render thread, and then that caused a hitch. And then you can say, oh, Meta, please fix your binder stuff. We're not beyond maybe sometimes having some bugs. And if you narrow it down with this, you can help us debug it. But this is typically way more low level than you're going to need. We should be able to resolve most of your issues with the Unity profiler, Unreal Insights, and also the MetaQuest Developer Hub streaming real-time profiler, the performance analyzer. But if you ever aren't able to understand some complex interaction between processes or systems, this is usually going to expose the underlying issue. And you can do this with one button in MQDH. So MQDH has that streaming profiler view, as I mentioned. Didn't include a screenshot, but it is, it's right there. It's one of the tabs. There's a device manager, and then there's a performance analyzer. You click on that, you're going to see all these real-time statistics. It's a little bit more complete than what you would get from OVR Metrics Tool. How many of you use OVR Metrics Tool? Okay, a lot, right. So that's a tool that also you can install with MQDH, but you can bring it up anytime when you're running your app, and it'll show you both the current frame time as well as kind of the GPU and the CPU load, and help you understand memory utilization at a very high level. And if you don't have a problem, then you can confirm that there. But if you do have a problem, you can kind of triage to another tool from that tool. So typically, you'd be on headset when you're using that. But you can also take your headset off, leave it on your desk, and use MQDH's performance analyzer to do the same kind of workflow. So you'd start in there and you'd say, oh, I have system contention problems. I'm going to do a Perfetto trace. You just click one button. It's going to grab the trace and all the relevant metrics you may be interested in. And then you can dive in there and follow up on that. Or if you find it's a GPU problem, then I would recommend you probably jump over to RenderDoc first, capture a frame of one of the instances of the problem, and then you can see exactly which of your draw calls, caused the stall, and like what materials, what meshes in the project were affiliated with that. And then you can go back into Unity and fix the problem by typically reducing texture resolution or poly count on the mesh. Okay, next we're going to talk about frameworks. So we have a lot of things that will just help you get this stuff right by default, so you don't have to drop into these tools. And that's what we all want, right? We kind of just want things to be turnkey. So our goal, again, with these frameworks is to help you maximize engagement. We want to help you get it right by convention, but they're all generally, mutable, and you can modify them, and that's, why we need you, is that, like, nobody really knows how to do this stuff. And I think that, we can provide, like tools and technology that helps you drive engagement, but I think it's ultimately your creativity and your ability to, build something compelling that's really going to make this whole ecosystem take off, is that, we want you to be able to mutate what we've done and either take or leave what we're offering there in terms of the guidelines and the suggestions we're making. So we have frameworks for mixed reality. Mike just talked about those. We have frameworks for interactions. So there's an interaction SDK that talks about like using the controller and hand input to interact with the real world. This is something that I think has like many years more exploration to do. We have some of our early learnings baked into that, but it's also mutable. We also have a bunch of online services for avatar rendering, for social co-presence, traveling around the metaverse together, and also voice over IP and other things. And then we also have APIs for interacting with AI and getting the most of kind of NPC interactions or other types of AI applications that we can we're just getting started mapping that out. So these are all things where we have some insight, we have some experience, but I think really like the journey is 1% finished. So generally, all of these things are exposed in Unity. Our Unity SDK is available on the Unity Package Manager. And I'm actually surprised that the Unity Package Manager isn't a little bit like more well known. Like, how many of you all have downloaded our package from the Unity Package Manager and not the Asset Store or our website? Yeah, that's like a pretty small number considering Unity is like a vast majority of our developers. Like, I think I would encourage everyone to check out Unity Package Manager, which is where our latest SDKs, e.g. like less than a year old, are now being shipped. So if you're going to our website, it's like way out of date, watch out. But it includes all of these features, and we're continuing to add a lot more to it. I will mention that like you can do anything from like an independent, like a brand new like developer just getting started to like AAA, like super like top of the line like stuff. We've got Camouflage coming out with Batman Arkham Shadow, which is using Unity. They were able to do some very advanced rendering in there and really change the way the engine renders things, including doing like filmic post-processing and things. And we also have drag and drop building blocks. And you can start, drag these into your project and mutate them to your heart's content. But Mike just talked about more of the details on that. Suffice to say that like building blocks are a really good way to get started. You can break the prefab instance and you can do whatever you want with the camera rig or the hands or the multiplayer interaction. You could use other SDKs in place of Photon or network net code for game objects. But anyway, yeah, building blocks are a great place to get started. And we also have samples. A lot of our samples are kind of reference applications that show you kind of all up, like what is a compelling experience, in our opinion, that you could build with some of the features. But this is all permissively licensed. You're free to copy and bring whichever assets or code you want into your application there. It's relatively like, we always try to clean up the code and make sure that it's modular enough that you really don't have to understand the whole code base just to bring in little pieces. So don't be intimidated by the size of these projects. If you're interested in like how hand tracking works, it's relatively separable. We also have like more focused samples. And recently we've added MR motifs, which will show you how to solve some of the more like human-computer interaction problems associated with the new technology. So for example, like how would I do transitions in pass-through? We have some cool things where you can like map out the UV space of the global mesh, and you can kind of like, do like fades and do different kinds of like, filmic kind of, transitions between, VR and pass-through, for example. And then ways of doing multiplayer with that. So Cryptic Cabinet is a great example. We do room layout in there. We do a little social co-presence and help you understand like how to use both the real world and the virtual world together. But there's a whole lot to learn there, and we have lots of blogs and documentation on these things. One other thing I want to mention, almost to the end here, but we've recently added features to help you roll out updates. Once you have a tweak you want to make, you can schedule that and have it download when the user's not in their headset. So if the user puts their headset on their desk and plugs it into charge, it can actually wake up and download the update that you shipped, get it all set up, and just prompt the user to allow it when they're done. And another thing you can do is make sure that everybody who's still using the app is kind of forced to update at some point to a minimum version. So if you have a security fix that you really need everyone to take, or if you just don't want to support old versions anymore, use sparingly. It's like a really powerful feature. Wouldn't want to just get one of these every day, but it'll help you cut down on your maintenance costs. And the last thing I want to mention is mixed reality capture. So we, for a long time, had Quest Mixed Reality Capture, which would let you kind of film a third-person perspective of your app for people to view outside of the headset. And this makes great marketing materials. It's great for promotions. You had ability to work kind of in a quick maker setting, or you could work in open broadcasting software, OBS, if you're familiar, and make kind of more high production value options. But we noticed that Live was just a really, really compelling alternative to that, and a lot of people use it with Steam VR. We're proud to offer this for free to you now. So you can just use the Live SDK to make, I think, maybe the most compelling way to build empathy with someone inside the headset. So if you're trying to do a marketing push and you can't just get every potential customer inside the headset to give them that contact religion of how great your app is, I would really encourage you to make a mixed reality capture video with Live and use that. We found that to be really effective. All right, thank you. And now I'll hand off to my colleague, Pooja.
All right. Now you have a great app. What are some of the tools that you can use in your journey with us to make sure you grow your business? If there's one thought I'd love you to have after this session is this: have I explored all the tools that I can use to help me monetize my content? If you're anything like me, you'll want quick and easy tools to solve some of your big, challenging problems. My name is Pooja Bindumadhav. I'm a product manager on the Horizons Economy team. My team builds tools that you can use to help you grow your business and ensure that customers gain visibility to your app. Let's dive into it. One of the first things that customers see about your app is the PDP page. So you want to make sure that everything that you put on there is the right assets that you want to put. So make sure you use our powerful creative A/B test tool. With this, you can test cover art, video trailers, descriptions, screenshots, immersive layers, and the immersive 360 previews. You will be able to test with the least amount of risk and only scale what you think is actually working. You can test multiple assets in the same experiment. So how do you set this up? Find the creative A/B testing tool in your developer dashboard under Growth. There are customizable features like audience split, confidence levels, and you can use data to inform which assets and visuals are actually helping you convert customers. All this is great. Let's say you use all of this to find beautiful assets that attract customers. We do know that despite all of this, price is a pretty important factor that helps customers decide whether they want to convert or not. Now, how do you ensure that you get the right price? The price A/B test tool is another tool that's going to help you with this. With the price A/B testing tool, you can again take limited risk and test what price is working out before you decide the price of your product. There's two types of pricing tests that you can run. One is the price boundary test that helps you gauge how a customer is reacting to a certain price point. And the other is the incrementality test that tells you what are the impact on some of my other metrics because I changed the price. Ultimately, a combination of this will tell you just because I reduce my price, am I actually making more money? Am I getting more customers? Or I increase my price, but now I have more engaged customers that buy my IAP, and therefore this is a better version for me to use. These are some of the things that you will be able to decide with the tool. I know this is exciting. Where can you find the A/B test tool? This is going to be under experiments. It's called price A/B testing. You will see a lot of additional information that will help you set this up. Now that you know what works well on the PDP page, let's dive into increasing your app's visibility in Meta. Enroll in the Meta open sales or promotions to help increase distribution and boost discoverability of your app. Anytime you have a temporary discount, enroll into one of these sales that Meta will have. In the developer dashboard, there's going to be a Meta promotion calendar, and you can enroll in any Meta-initiated sale. What happens once you enroll is that your app shows up in additional shelves in the store. So customers actually see the app, they're able to figure out, oh, there's a discount, so let me go buy this. So you don't have to decide just based on that. There is a promotion analytics screen that will tell you, how was my app performing before this promotion? Now how is it performing? And then you can use all of this data to inform the next set of decisions that you make. Should I do this again? Should I not do it again? That's where you'll get all the help you need. Now, you've got beautiful assets on your PDP page. You've figured out the exact right price, and you know how to gain visibility in the store. What more could customers possibly want? They want to try your app before they actually buy it. Try Before You Buy is a great tool that you can use to help customers use the app for 15 to 30 minutes before they actually buy the app. In July, we've had about 500K customers use this before they decide to buy it. You'd want to think if this is the right tool for you. If customers will not get your app's true experience within the first 15 to 30 minutes, this may not be the right tool for you. Especially if you've got a setup, a training, a registration, this may not be the right one, but we do encourage you to experiment, see if it works for you. Now, how can you expand your reach and find even more customers? How many of you have used ads here? One, I'll take that, two. This is a great opportunity. I'd love for you to explore app ads to reach customers on Facebook and Instagram. You can reach headset owners and optimize your ads for the outcome that you want to drive. We've heard your feedback, if you've used ads before, and we've made several under-the-hood improvements, so you will see ads performing better. We've also just recently published a bunch of material on how you create your ads and what's your setup journey, what are some of the best practices, so we encourage you to check those out. All of it is in the developer portal. We're going to continue improving this product over the coming months. Some of you have asked for more. How can I reach my customers internationally? The good news is that Meta is growing, is expanding internationally. What can you do? Localize your assets. So we've got the localization tool. This tool will help you translate your app name, description, according to the region that you want to launch it in. You can also adjust your price, and you will see some suggestions for the pricing, a default price, a custom price, suggested conversion. The last thing you'd want is a price of $10, 12 cents showing up somewhere. So you'd want to adjust it, make it a bit more friendly. The top markets that we recommend you localize is Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Japan, and South Korea. How does your PDP page look if you actually localize? It looks very similar. You will not lose any of the insights that you've gained, but it is going to be a lot more friendly for customers in those regions. Now let's figure out how you can retain these customers that you've actually got on your app. Add-on contents. This is a powerful tool that you can actually explore. If you publish an add-on, it is now going to be discoverable through the search feed. It's also eligible for the Meta open sales. So if you've got a discount just on the add-on and you've published it, it's going to be retrieved in search results, and people are going to find your app. Now, parents can also manage and access the add-on content for their children. You can explore our new sandbox environment to help you decide if add-on is the right one for you. Anybody here has a subscription app? It's fantastic. I'm partial to subscriptions. With subscriptions, we've got some more tools that we have launched recently. One of the new ones is short links. What you can do is create a short link and share it on social media or any other platform. And when a customer clicks on the short link, they are directed to your PDP page. And then the customer journey continues as it normally would. One of the best uses of this would be create a short link, give it off to, let's say, your influencer or in a marketing campaign, combine it with a promo code, X% off for Y months, like 5% off for next 3 months, so that when a customer clicks on it, they get the promo code and they can use it and get the discount. Now, let's say you don't want to use the promo code. You want to give a discount to everybody that lands on the promo on your PDP page during, let's say, the holiday season. That's when you'd use introductory pricing. You can offer discounts for a set period of months and make sure customers convert during that period. Webhooks is another one that a lot of developers have asked us for before, and we now have it. It gives you real-time insights, fine-grained insights into your app subscription performance with details of key events. We think this is going to be pretty powerful. This is the most recent one, so do try it out and let us know what you think. We appreciate the partnership as we continue to build the future together. Thank you.